All right, all right. Now, what I want to talk about is something as simple as warehouse or warehousing. And the reason why I'm talking to you about warehouses or warehousing in general is what you think is a warehouse is completely different than reality. Now, we're going to go into a warehouse and I'll kind of explain what's going on with the current pandemic. So warehouse, a place adapted to reception and storage of goods and merchandise. The Act of Congress of February 25th, 1799, First Story Laws, United States, 565, authorizes the purchase of suitable warehouses where goods may be unladen and deposited from any vessel, which shall be subject to quarantine or restraint, pursuant to the health laws of any states, at such convenient places or place as the safety of the revenue and observance of such health laws may require. And the Act of 2nd March 1799 S 62 First Stories Law US 627 authorizes an importer of goods, instead of securing the duties to be paid to the United States, to deposit so much of the goods as the collector may in his judgment deem sufficient security for duties and the charges for safekeeping, for which the importer shall give his own bond, which goods shall be kept by the collector with due care, at the expense and risk of the party on whose account they have been deposited, until the sum specified in the bond becomes due, when, if such sum shall not be paid, so much of the deposited goods shall be sold at public sale, and the proceeds charged for safekeeping and sale being deducted shall be applied to the payment of such sum, rendering the overplus and the residues of the goods so deposited, if there be any, to the depositor or his representatives. Now you might be saying, well, what the hell are you talking about? What does that mean? Now, you have to understand what constitutes a warehouse. Okay. Now, this has changed over time. What a warehouse has changed over time. Now, a warehouse can be a restaurant. A warehouse can be a grocery store. A warehouse can be a bar. A warehouse can be any building where goods are stored, such as a jail, such as a prison. These are all warehouses. Now, I know you probably never heard that. That's why I wanted to bring you to this understanding. So sometimes people ask me questions like, why am I so vague on YouTube? And the reason why I'm so vague on YouTube is because a lot of judges and a lot of attorneys and people watch this information, and then what they'll do is they'll do videos and they'll come out and oppose the information even though they know it's factual. So people have asked me, why don't you do 1099 OID videos? Why don't you explain it? I don't need to explain these videos because they have been perfectly done by other people. Now, when I do videos, I try to bring clarity to certain things. Now, if I did a 1099 OID video, it would take me probably 4 hours to explain every single thing, and I don't have time for that. But the 1099 OID process is very simple. The video has already been perfected. You know, the only thing that wasn't perfected in the video was the 1040V process, but everything else is perfected in the video. So there's no reason for me to go over it. But the reason why I'm talking about warehousing, I want you to understand what I just read, talking about that these goods are subject to quarantine. Now, this is the reason why people are talking about, oh, you guys are infringing on my constitutional rights by not letting me go to a bar or letting me go to places without a mask and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm telling you, you do have the ability to walk into a place and to not wear a mask. You can easily say, I am exempt. I do not wear, I want to wear, well, not, I don't want to, but I'm exempt from wearing a mask. And a lot of people do not know that, but they can deny you access. This is a tricky situation. Now, if they deny you access, it's best to leave and not argue. The reason why it's best to leave and not argue is because then they can lock you up for trespassing. You see what I'm saying? You still have to follow the law. Even though you don't agree with the BS, you do have to follow it to a degree, and you don't want to get caught up in trespassing and whatnot. But this basically is what's going on. This is why these businesses are not able to fully open, and why they're passing all this mask protocol. As I said, in Wisconsin, our order is not signed, so it's an invalid order. So these people are basically killing their businesses. But I know why. But I'm not getting into that. But we're gonna go deeper into warehousing, and so you'll further understand like jail and all this other stuff. Okay. A warehouse is a building for storing goods. So anything where they store goods can be considered a warehouse. Okay. Warehouses are used by manufacturers, exporters, importers, which can be deemed as you, wholesalers, transport businesses, customs, etc. Now, Amazon is a transport business. This is how they get out of a lot of taxes. Oops. Let me go back. They're usually large plain buildings in industrial parks and on the outskirts of cities, towns, or villages. That's not true. They usually have loading docks. Well, don't your local grocery store have a loading dock to unload goods from trucks? Sometimes these warehouses are designed for the loading and unloading of goods directly from railways, airports, seaports. They often have cranes, forklifts, or for moving goods, which is usually placed on ISO standard pallets, loaded in pallet racks. Stored goods can include any raw materials, packing materials, spare parts, components, or finished goods associated with agriculture, manufacturing, and production. So let me go down to after the Industrial Revolution. During the Industrial Revolution in the mid-18th century, the function of warehouses evolved and became more specialized. The mass production of goods launched by the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries fueled the development of larger and more specialized warehouses, usually labeled close to transport hubs, on canals, at railways, portside, specialized of task of characterizing of a factory system, which developed in British textile mills and potteries in the mid-late 1700s. Factories process speeded up work and skilled labor, bringing in new profits and capital investment. Warehouses fulfill a range of commercial functions besides simply storage, exemplified by Manchester's cotton warehouses and Australian wool stores receiving, stockpiling, and dispatching goods, displaying goods for commercial buyers, packing, checking, and labeling orders and dispatching them. Now, if you walk into your local grocery store, what do? They receive the inventory, then they scan it into inventory, and then they sticker it and put it back on the shelf. So all your local grocery stores are warehouses. Okay? So when you walk up in there and you say, I'm exempt, I don't want to use a mask. This is why I have my food delivered to me, because then I don't have to deal with that. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to go up in there and start arguing with these people. Now, you can walk up in there, but remember, I always tell people, stay out of the land of Caesar, which is the public. You're a private citizen, and you need to be as private as possible. all this other theatrics and stuff going on, don't involve yourself in that. Remember, I said preserve your energy. So let's see. The utilitarian architecture of warehouses responded fast to emerging technologies. Before and into the 19th century, the basic European warehouses was built on the load-bearing masonry walls and were heavily framed timber with suitable external cladding. I don't know why I'm reading this because none of that matters. But now, with the new technology, pretty much what people consider warehouses are actually grocery stores and bars and all of these. These are warehouses. That's why you have a distributor with a truck dropping off alcohol to a bar. Well, the bar is a warehouse. So if the governor issues an order or a health order, this means that they can shut down the warehouse due to quarantine, as I read in that first column. I'll read it again just so you can hear it, so you can understand the quarantine, because I understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to understand what's going on. When people ask me about debt stuff, that doesn't matter. Your debt is temporary. You need to know what's going on so you can make a permanent move. Okay, so this basically says that goods may be unladen and deposited from any vessel which shall be subject to quarantine. That means if they want to lock up these grocery stores, you need to know a way to get food to your house, farm to table. Okay? So I'm just telling you this so when people start revolting and being, revolting against the machine, you know how to feed your family and you know what to do. Well, as usual, I try to prepare you for this, what's coming up next. And if you need any help with some of these, the videos I talked about, or some of the advice that I talked about, or better advice, just comment below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. But I always expect people on my YouTube comment section to do your own research. Don't trust anything I'm saying. Just do your own research and do your due diligence. So if I'm wrong, you can correct me and I'm not mad at it. But I want you to start thinking for yourself and reading for yourself, because then you'll be able to survive for yourself. You won't be looking for me. You'll be building your own business and then commenting in the comment section, hey, I'm a millionaire, so I can give you a high five and be happy. I'm out.